I want to welcome everybody here this afternoon for this very great day. One of the highlights of the year at this great library. And given the events of the past few weeks, we're incredibly fortunate to be celebrating a profile in courage. The last couple of weeks here in Boston, believe me, have been extremely trying, but the reaction of the American people and the people here in Boston and the Commonwealth to what happened has been overwhelming, and we're all very, very grateful. And we're particularly grateful now to celebrate not a terrible tragedy, but a great, great day for our annual Profile in Courage awardee. As we begin this ceremony, I want to acknowledge just a couple of people. You get in trouble when you do this, but we're especially happy here today. First, a personal friend whose vision and hard work at this library has been indispensable to our success, Ed Schlossberg, and I thank Ed for being here today. I want to give a very special welcome to retired Navy captain and former astronaut Mark Kelly. In case you're from Pluto or somewhere, he's the husband of our honoree, and a very accomplished public servant in his own right. Thank you, Mark, for being here. We have a number of distinguished public officials. I want to acknowledge and welcome them. Some people call her the minority leader of the House of Representatives, but to me, she's the Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. Thank you. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz is here today. Congressman Ron Barber of Arizona is here. Ron succeeded Gabrielle Giffords in Congress. He was one of those wounded in the January 2011 attack in Tucson, and welcome, Congressman, here today. Congressman Donna Edwards of Maryland is here, who coincidentally serves as a member of the Profile in Courage Award Committee. I want to acknowledge her and the many other members of the award committee who have joined us here today. Thank you very, very much, all of you, for your service to this great institution. Finally, I want to extend my gratitude to Tom McNaught, the executive director of the Kennedy Library Foundation, and Tom Putnam, the director of the Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum, and their staffs for the incredible work that they've done to make this day possible. Where are Tom and Tom? Are you guys here? There they are, right in the front row here. Thank you. Not that many days ago, as some of you know, a fire broke out in the new wing of this building. And until very recently, we didn't know whether we'd be able to hold this ceremony today and this celebration. But the two Toms and their teams worked tirelessly to make it possible for us to come together on this very special occasion. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce our leader, the chairman of the Profile in Courage Award Committee, who leads the committee with great humor, great wisdom, basically listens to what I tell him, and great political courage. Please join me in a round of applause for our chairman, Al Hunt.
Ken Feinberg, my gosh, thank you, Kenneth. It is my pleasure, as the chairman of the Profile in Courage Award Committee, to work with an incredibly distinguished group of men and women on this committee. A number of them are here today. Some have been recognized a few minutes ago. But would all of you just stand now, all of you committee members, because it's such a terrific pleasure to serve with you. In addition to the awesome choice that we made this year, we also chose the winner of the Profile in Courage Essay Contest for high school students. This year, 1,814 students from 50 states, Washington, D.C., Chile, Egypt, India, and Taiwan submitted essays on political courage of U.S. elected officials, reflecting President Kennedy's great book. The essays went through 3 rigorous rounds of judging before the award committee made the final choice. Yes, you may. Why doesn't this happen to you, Ken? Okay, we're doing fine. Yeah, it's a great voice. Anyway, it did go through, as I was saying, 3 rigorous rounds of judging, and we really are grateful to all the people who gave their time and their efforts to read these essays. I want to express special thanks to the wonderful people of John Hancock Financial, which provides the critical financial support for the Profile and Courage Essay Contest. I especially want to thank Craig Bromley, the president of John Hancock, and the assistant vice president and counsel Tom Crohan and their team. They are both here today, I think. If Craig and Tom were here, would they stand up? We're recognizing them in absentia. It is now my pleasure to introduce the winner of the 2013 Profile and Courage Essay Contest for high school students, and I know she is here. She is Jamie Baer, who is the valedictorian of her class of 545 students at Homestead High School in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And her essay describes how freshman state senator Roy McDonnell, a conservative upstate Republican from Saratoga County, New York, shocked his very conservative constituents when he voted to legalize same-sex marriage and made the New York Senate the first legislative body with a Republican majority to approve gay marriage. Groups opposed to same-sex marriage organized to challenge McDonnell and other supporters, and he lost his seat in the primary a year later. For her winning essay, Jamie will receive a cash prize of $5,000 that will be matched by a $5,000 contribution to a John Hancock Freedom 529 College Savings Plan. Jamie is going to become an Indiana Hoosier next year, so we congratulate you for that. And it is a great pleasure that I invite Jamie to come up and be recognized for her outstanding research and writing on the topic of leadership and courage as described by President Kennedy in Profiles in Courage. Perfect. You want to hold it up, turn it around? Jamie? They want you, not me. Thank you. She's joined here by her parents, Jerome and Bonnie, and her sister, Allison, and we salute them for the support that you have given this incredibly accomplished daughter. But I also want to tell you about the teacher who nominated Jamie. Since 2007, Connie Christofferson has devoted a significant part of her advanced placement English language and composition course to a study of Profile in Courage. She shares the contest, or she sees the contest, rather, as a way to meet national curriculum standards for research and writing, and also as a way to help students see political figures as more than names on a page, and the politics can, as President Kennedy said, be the noblest of professions. Connie's students always write high-quality essays that demonstrate a clear understanding of political courage. Several Homestead High students have placed as finalists in the contest over the years, which is highly unusual. This year, in addition to Jamie's first place, Homestead High School had another student in the top 10 of all those 1,814 essays. Connie, that's a remarkable achievement. I'd like you to stand so we can thank you for your contributions. This was our most successful year yet, and the essay contest is such an integral part of what we do in the Profile and Courage Committee. We have a very high-powered committee, which we noted earlier. There are senators and they're House members, they're Republicans, they're Democrats, CEOs, some of America's greatest lawyers, the most distinguished law school dean, even newspaper editors. We're not distinguished, but we're never in doubt. But all of us know who our leader is. She inherited her father and mother's intelligence, charm, grace, and diplomacy, the heart and soul of this magnificent place and this marvelous award, Caroline Kennedy.
Thank you, Al. I was told that Ken was going to introduce me, but wow, that was so much nicer than anything that Ken ever says. Thank you, Chris, as well, and thank you all for coming. This is always a special day for my family and for the Kennedy Library as we commemorate my father's birthday and honor those who possess the indispensable virtue that he most admired, courage. This year it's even more special, for as we remember his life and the 50th anniversary of his presidency, we also remember his death. Our family is still suffering from the heartbreak of gun violence. No one should have to lose a husband, a wife, a father, a child to senseless murder. But as our honoree has shown, out of that pain and tragedy, we must find the strength to carry on, to give meaning to our lives, and build a more just and peaceful world. The work that my Uncle Teddy did year in and year out to carry forward my father's vision for America, the heroic and selfless acts of the first responders and citizens during the recent events in Boston, and the uniquely courageous woman we honor today, remind us all how precious life is and how the human spirit can triumph over hatred and violence. Before we begin today's presentation, the ceremony honoring courage, I'd like to salute the first responders and citizens of Boston. All Americans have been inspired by the countless acts of bravery and compassion we saw during the violence that struck this city on Patriots' Day. Today, we pray for those who lost their lives and those who are fighting to recover. And we give thanks for the men and women who illuminated a path to hope when this city was gripped by fear. My family and this library are proud to call Boston home. Now we honor a woman who inspires the entire world. Gabrielle Giffords has turned a personal nightmare into a movement for political change. After an assassination attempt ended her congressional career and left her with grave injuries, she fearlessly returned to public life as an advocate for new legislation to prevent gun violence. When others would have withdrawn from public life, she's challenged us all to re-engage in the political process. When others would have given up hope, Gabby has been unwavering in her belief that politics can solve problems. When others would have looked for excuses, Gabby has inspired action. Even before she was wounded on that terrible January day, Gabby was a profile in courage. She was outspoken in her commitment to civil public discourse despite threats from angry partisans over votes she had cast as a legislator. Since then, with the support of her remarkable husband, Mark, Gabby has not fallen silent. She understands that this is not going to be easy and it's not going to happen quickly, but it's the right thing to do. She perseveres not just for herself, but for Newtown and Aurora, for Chicago and Tucson. Gabby's courage has already changed the way we look at guns in this country. Her work will spare countless families from the pain and loss caused by gun violence. As she wrote in the New York Times just a few weeks ago, "To do nothing while others are in danger is not the American way." Gabby Giffords lives those words every day. It's my profound honor to present her now with the 2013 Profile in Courage Award.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you so much for recognizing my wife's extraordinary courage to be honored along with people she admires deeply, like Congressman John Lewis or your own Senator Edward Kennedy, is amazing to Gabby. I know that.
Yes.
But I have to say, not to me, the determination and the valor my wife Gabby Giffords displays every single day has redefined the word courage for me. Gabby and I have spent a lot of time at another place that honors President John F. Kennedy, and that's the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, the only place on the globe from which humans have departed our planet on a trip to the moon, and from where I commanded both space shuttles Discovery and also Endeavour. And while it's not our first time here at the Kennedy Library in Boston, we are glad to be back. We're so sorry for the violence and terror that all of you have endured. We know what that is like. I saw combat in Iraq and Kuwait, and Gabby lived through a mass shooting. We know how violence changes lives. We know that for those touched by violence, it matters less what you call it, crime, terrorism, war, or madness, because violence defies categories. It simply and brutally draws a line in the sand of time before and after. Before, when Gabby could ride her motorcycle around the foothills of those southern Arizona mountains and speak easily and often to her neighbors. And after. Before, when Christina Taylor Greene's parents in Tucson or Martin Richards' parents here in Dorchester, where they could go to sleep wondering what wonderful thing their child would say when he woke up the next morning, and after. For the victims of Boston, of the Boston Marathon bombing, who we spent time with today at Spaulding Rehab, before, when they gathered on a sunny day to celebrate the demonstration of an amazing physical strength and determination, watching the runners go by, and after, when they must find the physical strength and determination necessary for their own recovery. We extend our deepest sympathies to all of you who have endured violence and loss here. But courage for us is about the after. Courage is doing everything we possibly can to make sure that fewer parents face that loss. For me, it meant learning more about politics. Previously, I handled the space flight travel responsibilities in our marriage, and Gabby handled the politics. But now, we have to do the politics together. For Gabby, her courage is the equivalent of a lunar mission. She has set her sights on a distant horizon, a country that will be dramatically safer from gun violence. And she works hard each and every day with physical therapy, speech therapy, and also a little bit of yoga to make sure she is in shape to get there. And there are many doubters, many who think that the NRA and the rest of the gun lobby is simply too powerful, many who think our deep and patriotic support of the Second Amendment, which, by the way, Gabby and I share, will prevent us from making progress. Many who saw the failure of the Senate to pass expanded background checks last week have just thrown up their hands in anger and disgust. That's fine. Our friend Jim Lovell, the commander of Apollo 13, remembers being amazed. He was amazed in 1971 when President Kennedy said we would get to the moon. Jim says that he thought that was impossible. Then, as many of you know, he flew there twice. Jim says, and I quote, "There are people who make things happen, there are people who watch things happen. and there are people who wondered what happened. To be successful, you need to be a person who makes things happen. Gabby Giffords is a person who makes things happen. Gabby has chosen to help inspire, organize, and motivate a nation that is fed up with violence and fed up with congressional inaction. And she has chosen to focus us on coming together and taking concrete steps that will keep families and communities safer. Her courage inspires us daily, but I know she is inspired by the courage of those who came before her, those she met today, and those hundreds of thousands of Americans all across the country who are joining her each and every day, those who are sending checks for $5 or $10, money that they may need in tough times to help us. Those who are taking to Facebook, to Twitter, to stand shoulder to shoulder with Gabby. Those who are talking to their friends at the grocery store and at the water cooler and on playgrounds and saying, we can do better. And I'm standing with Gabby Giffords to get it done.
Thank you.
I know she is inspired by the courage of her friend and staffer, Gabe Zimmerman, who ran toward her and toward danger during the terrible shooting in Tucson and lost his life trying to help. President Kennedy said, the stories of past courage can teach, they can offer hope, they can provide inspiration, but they cannot supply courage itself. For this, each man or woman must look into his own soul. Gabby's courage is limitless and it is powerful. We thank you so much for recognizing and honoring that, and we ask for your courage in joining us to make sure we achieve our goal of a safer America for all of us. Now I'd like to introduce you to the woman who reminds me each and every day to deny the acceptance of failure, my beautiful wife, Gabrielle Giffords.
Thank you to the Kenny family for this award. I appreciate it very much. I believe we all have courage inside. I wish there was more courage in Congress. Sometimes it's hard to express it. I know. It's been a hard 2 years for me, but I want to make the world a better place. More than ever, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.